Hi, I'm Dr. Claire Baker, and in this short film, I'm going to share some of the findings from the Brightspots programme, looking at care leavers' views on understanding why they're in care and how this links to identity. The Brightspots programme is a partnership between Core and Voice and the Rees Centre at the University of Oxford. And over the last 7 years, the programme has been working with children in care and care leavers to understand what they say is important in their lives and what matters to their well-being. Here you can see all the different factors that care leavers identified as important. And today we're going to look at just one of those areas, understanding the reason why you're in care. And these different factors are all measured by a survey called the Your Life Beyond Care survey. So we'll share some of the findings in relation to, do care leavers feel that someone has given them a sufficient and full explanation of why they're in care? And the findings are based on a large number of care leavers' views. These young people shared how they were feeling, over 4,000 young people. And the survey's taken place in a whole range of different local authorities. And we've got information from both pre-pandemic and also care leavers who took part during lockdown and during COVID-19 times. So I'm going to talk to you about the findings from over 4,000 young adults who have left care. So understanding who we are and where we come from is a crucial component of our identity development. And developing that positive personal identity and our own sense of personal history is associated with high self-esteem in emotional well-being. Every child and young person who comes into care should know why, and they should have the opportunity to discuss the reasons this has happened whenever they feel unclear. But when children don't get these opportunities, it can lead to young people feeling insecure, unwanted, and they may blame themselves. These factors can have a really negative impact on their self-worth and their well-being. So supporting young people to understand who they are and where they come from is really recognised as good practice. However, some young people tell us that they feel really the care system doesn't equip them with a full understanding of their background and their personal history. They're left with outstanding questions. And some young people want more help to understand what's happened in their life. And one of the main barriers to positive identity development is the failure to help young people understand their background and both in care and pre-care experiences. People don't give enough consideration as to when they put us kids into care, how we're feeling, and what we want to know. They call it life story work, I think, but they don't really do it. I've got a memory box, but I want information and facts. And it's important to know your first words, your birth weight, what time you were born. Many a time I thought, well, what time was I born? When you don't know, it's hard. I could wake up at that time and think, I was born at that time. So in relation to the findings, we've looked at nearly 10,000 children in care and how they feel they are doing. And in relation to whether they think somebody has fully explained to them why they're in care, the youngest age group in our surveys, the 4 to 7-year-olds, nearly half of that group don't think someone has fully explained to them why they're in care. This improves as children get older, but we're still left with quite significant gaps. So about 2/3 of 8 to 10-year-olds feel someone has explained, and about 4 in 5, about 80% of the 11 to 17-year-olds. This young person saying, I'd like someone to talk to about my feelings and to tell me about my past. I'd like to see a picture of my dad so I know what he looks like. I'd like to see a picture of me as a baby. I've never seen a picture of me. I've got lots of questions and no one answers. So in relation to care leavers, you might be surprised to see that nearly a quarter of young people after they have left care still feel that they've got outstanding questions and that they feel they haven't had that full explanation. So about 18% saying, I want to know more, and about 5% feeling no one's explained the circumstances. And look at the graph, really interesting to see the variation across local authorities. So in the best local authority, best performing local authority that we surveyed, only 4% of their care leavers said, I don't think I've had a full explanation. Contrast that to the lowest performing authority, where nearly 10 times as many care leavers, 39% saying, I don't think I've had a full explanation. So it's clear that some local authorities are getting this right, and what can we learn from them? So East Riding was one of the local authorities that was awarded a bright spot. Their young people, on average, were more likely to feel someone had explained to them why they were in care. And when we asked the local authority why, they said, well, maybe because in our pathway planning process, we've got a specific question in the identity and interest section. And that question, do you have any questions about why you became looked after, can act as a regular trigger for discussions and a prompt for workers to check in every now and again. Are young people still happy? Have they got any questions? Have things come up? Do they want to know any more? And one of the care experienced creatives, Kerry Portman from Quorum Voice, wrote in the national newspaper, The Guardian, about this very issue. And she wrote, the lack of clarity leaves many young people with lost pasts, struggling to form a stable identity. How can you begin to adjust to a new situation, to feel safe and settled when you don't even know how you got there? Unfortunately, my social worker never explained why I was taken into care, and the idea that I was to blame tore me apart, solidifying in my mind that there was something deeply wrong with me. Even now, 6 years on, I still don't fully understand, and I feel sad I'll probably never fully understand why I was taken into care. Although I now know it wasn't my fault, I have a sense of underlying worry and confusion. And in that article, Kerry reminds us of the important role local authorities play in helping children and young people gain this understanding, both in terms of understanding the sequence of events that led up to them being in care, but also that emotional understanding that it's not their fault. And she urges that all social workers take the time to ensure young people understand what's happened to them and why. And if that happens, young people will have a better chance of reaching their full potential. And of course, that should be the goal for every care experienced person. So after the session, you will be sent these slides. And so I hope you'll have the chance to look at this really beautiful poem from one of the care leavers who entered the Quorum Voices writing competition. And the poetry really speaks to the issue of identity and all the different things that make up our identity. And so I'll leave you with some questions for reflection. What does what you've heard mean for you and for your service? What does it mean for your practice? Given nearly a quarter of care leavers have still got outstanding questions and don't fully understand why they're in care, and given the evidence of how that links to identity formation, do you know if your care leavers have got outstanding questions? Are they things that they want to know? And who needs to be involved in helping care leavers to find out these things? So thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a good day.